All right, all right, all right. Carnivore Soldier coming at you from Austin, Texas. You made it. It's another hump day. And this is going to be a great discussion we're going to have. If you made it, you made another week into your diet. The economy is really tough right now. And a lot of people are struggling with paying all their bills, but we don't want to add food as another bill you have to worry about. And it's really easy to save money on your food bills by going carnivore. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about different ideas. And if you guys have ideas, please share them in your links below if you're watching this later or live in the comments. Thanks for showing up, guys. We got some guests here again. We have the regulars, DC Learning to Live from Down Under. And he's going to be talking about the economy down there too, because they're having the same kind of problems we are. And he can give you some insight of what's going on down there. And then we have our Floridian, John, carnivore teacher. Good to see you, John.
Hey.
Hey, DC.
Hey. Good to see you guys.
It is, man. It's good. I always feel great when we're all together. I mean, it's kind of like three amigos and three brothers here. It's fun to hang out with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we know that the world economy is really shaky and people are struggling. Credit cards are at the limit for a lot of people. The debt's really high. People have just been extending, and inflation keeps going up, and our pay doesn't. I noticed that myself. So today, I think we need to talk about something that's really important: is how to do carnivore on a budget and do it right. Still, not we're not going to cheat corners or anything, but we're gonna talk about how to do carnivore correctly. And I'm going to use real live numbers. And if people have ideas, please post them in here with a QQQ. And I can actually look up pricing here in Texas. Now, I can't do pricing in Australia or Florida, but we're going to look at my grocery store. And, I'm sure everyone's grocery store is going to have something similar. We'll be able to look up prices and do a spreadsheet like what we're going to do and just kind of make your own budget, right? Because everyone's going to have their own individual experience based on what's local. What do you guys think about this, DC and John? One of you guys want to jump in and kind of give your comment on that, DC?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like you said, you can only really do what's around you, so like you really have to look for the best sources at the best prices you can get around you. No one wants to travel too far to find food. But it's a struggle here in Australia, I think, at the moment, and it has been for a fair while, really, compared to other countries. When I first came back to Australia, for example, from Japan, the prices were unbelievable. They were astronomical. When I left Australia, you could go down the Gold Coast and get like a $10 lobster dinner. Now
that sounds good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but when I came back, it's totally unaffordable. Like people can't buy that sort of food here anymore. And but there are cheap alternatives still. There are affordable. I won't say cheap, but there are affordable alternatives now. Still, and you just have to look around at the places around you, and timing is another thing too. We try to find as many sales as we can, and when something goes on sale, we'll buy as much as we can.
Yeah. So Dave Saunier, who's a moderator here, has been around for a long time, and he's one that sent me this ground beef for $1.97 a pound, and got me thinking about it today. Like, you know what? We need to show people how to save money if they're going to do this and still do it right. And that's the thing I want to emphasize. We're not going to do it wrong. So, John, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I was just talking to you before we went live. I made a video similar to this, but not quite what you're doing, because you're going to put up a spreadsheet and show us how much things cost in Texas. I made a video about when to buy things, and I found, and I didn't even do it on purpose, that around Thanksgiving, around Christmas, around Easter, 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day, all the grilling holidays. You go to the stores, a lot of the stores have meats on sale. Meats that are normally $16, $18 a pound, you can get for $8 or less, $8 a pound or less. Ribeyes, good stuff. So yeah, you're going to go to the checkout and you're going to maybe have $300 at the checkout. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm spending more money than I normally do. But what are you buying? You're buying the stuff on sale in bulk, take it home, put it in your freezer. I didn't have a freezer for my garage, just the one in my kitchen, right? When I became a carnivore, I bought another freezer for this. And it's full. It's full of the stuff that's on sale. We're going to have prime ribs tomorrow night.
How much did you spend on that freezer?
What did I spend? It's a little square one. It's not the big long one. What did we spend? $259 for the freezer.
See, I spent like $175 for mine.
Oh.
It's oblong, but it's older because it's back to series.
Mine's made for the garage and it's made for the cold, and it has a drain and all that stuff. But yeah, you invest in it. It pays back in the future. We're having prime rib tomorrow. I bought this gigantic prime rib for $50. Normally in the sale would be well over $100 for this size prime rib. And, we bought it a couple months ago. I'm like, all right, so let's take it out and have it. And that's going to make several meals. So it's the time of year, buy in bulk. And then, in this chat, you're going to show on a spreadsheet, we're going to talk about the different kinds of meats that you don't have to spend a fortune on regular times just because it's not on sale. There's a lot of cheap cuts that are way healthier than if you eat, processed food. So, yeah,
that's right.
Hot dogs, hamburgers, not pasture-raised eggs, which I love pasture-raised eggs, but
right.
If you can't afford it. It's still better than cereal.
Yeah, we'll talk about that because that's an important point. And okay, so Dave said he's got this discount and he's going to go every day and pick up 10 pounds at a time. So that's the same thing. I'm going to share what I'm doing now because I'm right now emptying my freezer out because I have a lot of meats in there, and I decided this month I haven't shopped for any meat basically, and I'm just draining out my freezer, and I'm going to look for some deals and start restocking it. But I found a ribeye that I didn't know I had. I love that. It's like, oh look, I thought I was out of ribeye. I have one because I don't eat ribeye every day. I eat a lot of ground beef. It's just easy. It meets all the required, checks all the boxes. Right?
It does.
And I eat eggs. So let's see, 2 eggs mixed in a small tin of salmon and butter.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
All right. So what we're gonna do is I've got a spreadsheet that I just made up on the fly this morning or this afternoon, and I'm gonna kind of share it. Now we're gonna look at HEB, which is our grocery store here in Texas that I shop at. Besides Costco, I go to Costco to buy bulk up stuff. Like butter, I get at Costco for sure, those kind of things. But we're just going to show you, if you didn't have a Costco or couldn't afford a membership and all you had is a grocery store, what a local grocery store could do for you live. And then we're also going to talk about some of the things that I didn't add to the spreadsheet that you could, that some people, and if you guys have ideas that you do that are cost-saving ideas, please share them and we will jump in and do that. So let me bring up the spreadsheet first. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and add it to the stage. So here is a spreadsheet, and I'm just going to go over it really quick. What I've done is for 30 days, I've figured out basically a BBB&E diet. And for 30 days on BBB&E strict, pretty much, you can do $60 a week for one person, which is, and this is not going hungry. This is eating pretty well. So you're eating a pound of beef a day, 6 eggs with 4 strips of bacon a day, 4 tablespoons of butter, 2 hot dogs a day, and these are Nathan's hot dogs, so they're pretty clean. You want to get as clean as you can, no corn syrup in them, that kind of stuff, and then you're having some salt. So that's definitely sustainable for most people. I could live off that for sure. I don't eat that much per day. What we have here, I eat less than that. What about you guys? What do you guys eat? Do you think that would sustain you guys?
That would sustain me with leftovers.
Okay, what about you, DC?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think I'd eat that much.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd eat 4 eggs probably with 2 strips of bacon.
I add more butter though. That's not enough butter.
Yeah, I'd add more butter, but that's cheap.
Yeah, I see what you meant. Yeah,
you can tweak this any way you want, right?
Tweak it. Yeah.
And so what we did is I found 5 pounds of ground beef for $17.63, and I bought 6 of them. So that's 30 days. So you have 30 days of 1 pound a day, right?
Yep.
And then I found these 36 count eggs, and these aren't pasture raised; they're just cheapo white eggs. $6.30 for 36 count. We got 5 of them,
Wow.
so we have enough to have 6 eggs a day. The bacon, $4.15 for 12 ounce. So we have a 10 count. So we actually have more bacon. That's actually 30 days. That's fine. Yeah. And then we have butter, 4 tablespoons of butter, which is pretty good. That's a lot of butter. I mean, for most people, been 2 hot dogs a day. And we're talking $240 a month or $60 a week. Now, if you just go into a grocery store without a plan, you're not going to do this.
Right.
But if you just look at your website, and I'm going to bring up the grocery store. Where's my grocery store? Here, bring it up. This is the grocery store. You can actually look and get prices and drop them in a spreadsheet just like this. And it's super easy to do. So I just looked up hot dogs, and I found the Nathan hot dogs that I wanted, which was the 8 count beef franks right here. And that's what I did. And I just, for $4.57, and I dropped them in right here. 8 count, $4.57, and figure out how many I was going to eat per day, right? So it's pretty easy to do. It's not like super math. Now over here, we added some options, and there's more options we're going to talk about. But you could add 4 pork chops to add another $20 a month, right? And eat a couple pork chops, 1 pork chop a day. So 1 pack would be 4 days. That'd be 8 days of eating pork chops if you wanted to. You could also do a 2.85 pound chuck roast, which I like to do, and throw in a crock pot and eat like a 1/4 pound to a 1/2 pound per day if you want to, vary meat. And then you can cut back on the hot dogs or whatever. This is better quality over here probably than hot dogs. And then I threw some cheddar cheese, because some people like to use cheese for, and this is not grated, you have to grate it yourself, but this is cheese that people like to use for condiment. And I think that might be an option. What are some other things, guys, that you guys think we could add as options that we could eat on?
I was talking about fish. We could get tins of anchovies, sardines, herring, wild caught sockeye salmon. Is not that expensive. You can get salmon in a tin. Always get it in water. And you want to get the tins that don't say boneless and skinless, because you want the bones and you want the skin. And they're really cheap. You can get some tins for like $2 or $3 a tin.
You never want it like in this olive oil.
Correct.
That's never have any oil. It should be just water.
Even olive oil, definitely not soybean oil or canola oil, but the olive oil is not the best olive oil, and you don't know how old it is, and it's
probably adulterated too.
And it's a plant oil, and it could be adulterated.
It'd be a mixed oil as well. It's not going to be like a very expensive sort of.
I never trust press when they say olive.
You got in vegetable oil over here.
Yeah,
terrible. Here's in water.
Yep.
Chunk like tuna, that's probably fine in water.
As long as it's not albacore. Apparently, albacore is high in mercury. You want to get other tuna, not albacore tuna.
Yeah, I don't worry about the mercury levels so much. I mean, you're really not eating a vast volume of fish.
All right.
I mean, if you're you really have to eat a lot of fish for that to be a problem. The fish themselves, they really don't have that much mercury in them, as much as people sort of blow out of proportion as well. I mean, I haven't seen a problem with it in Japan. They eat fish all day long,
Right.
Swordfish is what you need to be watching. The big giant fish, they are going to be higher in mercury because they're
the smaller the fish,
also higher. Like that's one argument. One argument is that these big fish are higher in mercury because they eat all the smaller fish, but that's also where they get their omega-3s from. They also get it by eating other fish.
But if they measure it and it's high, that's what I've heard. I've heard to say the smaller fish are eating the plankton and the kelp and all the sea stuff, and there's no mercury in that. So the littlest fish have no mercury, and the larger, there's more of a chance, apparently.
That's why sardines are better. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know about that, because the seaweed, they're like crops. Okay, if it's in the water, it's going to be in the plants too. So it's the whole. like back, I don't know, about 20 years ago, that people started eating krill oil because they said it was lowering mercury. But the thing is, with the supplements, especially when they're talking about fish oil and krill oil, for example, there's zero difference between them. And, because of the omega-3s and, from your fish oils and things like that, the argument was that the krill feed on the bottom, and eat the plants and stuff, so they don't have the mercury problem. But that's a complete lie. What happens is that with krill, they actually feed on the surface of the water, and then they sink when they are full. They sink down until they are hungry again. Then they swim back to the surface and they eat again. That's how krill feed.
So what's at the surface? Is
bugs and all sorts of stuff that they eat.
Less mercury at the surface? I mean, do these also have less mercury because they're tiny?
I mean, there's all sorts of all sorts of stuff floating around that they eat. But when it comes to the supplements as well, the supplements are always they're filtered and treated and stuff like that well. So they always get rid of the mercury and that sort of stuff in that respect anyway. So there's absolutely no difference between buying fish oil and krill oil. And a lot of that is just comes down to the propaganda they use to try and sell you a different product. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. So you can see something like this.
$1.05. Wow, that's a great deal.
$1.02 for water, sardines and water.
Yeah,
right? Which is really a good price.
That's fantastic.
That's really good.
You can really search that out and say, how many ounces is that? I think it's. Let's see. That was 3.75 ounces, or just say 1 can, right? Because you'll eat a whole can.
Yeah.
Oh, I eat a whole can in one sitting easily. Yeah. They're filling. They're actually pretty filling. And those people that cringe at sardines and anchovies, I used to cringe at it. Try it again. Try it in water. Have an open mind. Taste it. They're actually
try it now that you're
a carnivore. They're really darn good. I open the tin and I take it and I slurp the water first. It's so good, right? And then I take a fork. It's great. Yeah, I never used to like it years ago because I had a sweet tooth years ago. I was so used to
not sweet enough.
The sweet stuff. Now I love it. I can taste everything.
Yeah, I must admit, I haven't tried sardines myself, but tin fish is pretty good. It's certainly going to be. It's very cheap, and it's a lot cheaper than buying it fresh. And it's really not going to be. I mean, obviously, fresh is going to have more nutrients. It's going to taste better, but if you're in a pinch, you still need to eat something.
Exactly,
and it is cheap.
Yeah, actually. Canned sardines is something I actually keep as survival food too, because I'm a prepper.
It lasts forever.
So I always keep that stuff because that's something that doesn't have any seed oils. It's gonna sustain you. It's got everything you need.
Yeah, it does.
I agree.
Tin food, you're eating the brains, you're eating all the organs.
Some of the meats you get in tin are quite good. I mean, it's not something you want to eat on a daily basis, perhaps, but definitely they keep long, so they're really great for prepping. And
power goes out. You can't grill. You can't cook. You can open a tin.
That's right.
Tuna. Cod liver too. If you ever want to look up cod liver, cans are a little more expensive. So healthy. It's like a superfood, and it's delicious.
Yeah, absolutely. Cod liver oil is fantastic.
In its own cod liver oil. It's I slurp that out of the can too. A big
when I was
omega-3.
When I was in the Army, I would bring sardines with me in the field when I was trying to do keto because I knew that MREs were terrible for me.
Good for you for knowing.
I could eat a can of sardines.
MRE disgusting.
After you eat one full can of sardines, you're not hungry. Now I was eating ones with olive oil because I didn't know any better. Still better than eating an MRE. I can tell you that. And
describe what's in an MRE exactly.
The MRE is going to have your main entree, which is a vegetarian entree typically. Some have some meat, but very few. Only a few do. It's full of carbohydrates. It's almost all carbohydrates.
Yeah, because they want you to have energy.
And seed oil fats. That's all it is. There's no animal fat. It's a heart healthy food. Also, it has candy bar. It's going to have a side dish, which could be like, I don't know. I mean, if you're eating your main meal, your side dish, well, it could have like a bread, like a muffin top, which is all sugar and bread. It's all carbs. It's terrible.
Carbs and
It's
sugar.
like the
Yeah.
worst thing you could eat.
Wow.
And it's they stop you up. You can't go to the bathroom when you eat, and when you're in the field, it's terrible.
Ooh.
And then when you do go, it's not a fun experience.
That's terrible.
Being in the field eating modern day rations is a terrible thing for your body. I can tell you right now.
Now they want to try and force soldiers to eat the plant-based meats.
Oh.
Yeah, that's terrible.
You know that the Pentagon don't want a strong army. They don't want a strong American military. Obviously,
they're not doing the research. Is what they're not doing. I mean, come on. We have all the modern research on diet and nutrition out there, and they're
sure
still
they
believing these myths. They're believing all the myths. It's ridiculous. You know, in the 1950s, did the MREs have a pack of cigarettes?
I was just going to point that out. Yes, but they also had canned potted meat.
Oh yeah, they did. They had better food.
It was a better quality food. Now the cigarettes, that's a terrible thing. We don't get cigarettes anymore. We get matches, though. We do have matches in there. So if you're going to smoke, and you get toilet paper, a little tiny square of toilet paper.
They still give you matches for smoking.
I assume that's what it's for.
Huh.
There's matches in there.
Huh.
Or if you survival, light a fire. But
we have
a chemical heater, so you don't need fire to heat.
Right.
Food. It's a chemical heater that takes water. So maybe one day I'll bust out an MRE and go through it with everybody. I have MREs here because it is a survival food too. I do keep those a survival food because, listen, if
they'll last forever.
Yeah, and if the world were to end, I will eat whatever I need to eat. I will hunt when I can hunt, and if I'm starving, I will eat MREs. That's the way
survival
I roll.
It's survival food. Yeah,
it will keep you. It's survival food, and that's why we need to look at anything that's not on a proper human diet. It is survival food.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, part of my survival packs are dry foods that store for a really long time. Like, it's not carnivore, but it will keep your ribs apart if you in that situation. I've been in that situation before, so you have to have something to keep you going. I don't worry too much about sticking to the carnivore, but like I said, tin meats are good too.
They are, and like spam, not great quality, but
but it's better than
for
nothing.
Survival meat. It's better than an MRE. Actually, it is.
It is.
So I will eat that, and I also the corned beef, the canned corned beef. That I have a couple different kinds just for variety if I need it. So the key to saving on meat is to get on the store's email list. Just buy what's on sale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true, and it all goes on sale at some point.
At some point, usually around the holidays, but other times too.
It takes a little bit of time.
It depends where you are. I mean, here, if it come up to holidays, this is another thing. Timing is important because coming close to holidays here in Australia, prices always go up. So you want to get it in between holidays, and then they have the sort of mid-year sort of sales and things like that. There's always a sale going on.
That's interesting because where we live, they go on sale during the holidays, and the day after a holiday, get all this really good stuff on sale. Ground beef is close to $1 a pound sometimes. I found it.
That's cheap. That's amazing.
Right on Memorial Day, on Labor Day, which is our American holiday. On different holidays, they're lower, and the stores are stocked with things I've never seen before because people are buying them. Yeah, that's the great thing about it.
The cheapest ground beef I've seen around me is around $11 a kilo. So it's about $5.50 a pound.
Really?
But again,
that's expensive. That's Australian dollars.
Yeah, I mean, some of this stuff does go on sale. Like at the moment, there's a butcher near me that I do often use. They are having a sale this week. You can get 6 kilos for $10. So that's about $1.60, $1.80 per kilo. So what's that? 90 cents a pound. So yeah, it just depends. Some days you can get really good sales, but on average, the cheapest is about $11 a kilo. So about $5.50 a pound.
So Aid brings up a good point. Even extra virgin, or what is labeled as extra virgin olive oil, still 15% PUFA naturally. So
Yeah.
that's interesting. And that means polyunsaturated fats, right?
Well, actually, there's a lot of when it comes to these oils too. I did a video on this recently about the fake food industry. A lot of these even extra virgin olive oil, like it'll be fortified with all these other different oils that actually cut with these oils.
Adulterated.
So actually, very, very small amount is actually olive oil. So you have to be careful about that. Like,
yeah, well, I won't even buy olive oil. I won't even buy it.
Actual real
olive oil.
Actual real olive oil is very expensive stuff.
It is.
Yeah.
That stuff you get in the supermarket, that cheap stuff, that's not olive oil. That's stuff that's cut with olive oil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, as John pointed out before when we were talking, that if you got real extra virgin olive oil, it had to be in a dark glass container, right, John?
Right. Dark glass container with a single source, with not an expiration date or sell by date, but a harvest date.
Harvest date.
It tells you when they picked the olive, and it should be no more than 3 years old. And you can tell the difference. You take a little bit of that olive oil. This is I learned all about this when I was using olive oil on keto. I don't do it anymore. Put it on the back of your tongue. It should burn the back of your tongue, and you should taste. It tastes like a wheat, like a grain. You actually taste it. Regular cheap, crappy olive oil, it's tasteless, and it's very light in color. These olive oils are darker in color. You can tell the difference. Go to Italy, you'll get some really good olive oil, and it is healthy. It is healthy for you, but I just don't eat it because I can't trust what I'm getting unless I'm spending a fortune and buying it. I'm importing it.
Yeah.
So
but I guess it comes down to, like, just because you can eat it doesn't mean you should eat it.
Right, exactly.
Right. Sandra's got a point about her trusty butcher, and she brings that up. This is something you can also do: is befriend your butcher. Small talk is good. Just become friends with your butcher, because butchers can make a lot of meats available to you and cuts that might be, because most people want their fat trimmed from their meat. And if you know your butcher, you can say, "Oh, please leave fat on my meat." You could do those kind of things, right? And there's a lot of things you could do. So make sure and they'll also tell you when meats are coming available or cheaper or whatever. So it's always good to know your butcher. If you can, go up and talk to them, especially if you're a regular carnivore, you're regular buying cuts of meats. Now, I don't. I usually just get ground beef, and then I buy my ribeyes from Costco. And notice we're not talking about none of this is talking about grass-fed, right? Grass-finished. I'm sorry. All beef's pretty much grass-fed, but we're just talking about inexpensive carnivore. So this is something that I think most people can afford. It's cheaper than going out to restaurants for sure.
Nowadays, it's even more cheaper.
Yeah, now it's even more cheap. Now more than ever, a carnivore diet makes more sense.
It does.
More than ever in our lifetime. Because
especially have a think about where else you can save money too. Most people these days they'll go and get themselves a Starbucks every day. And that's what, $5-6 for like an average drink from Starbucks.
Or even if you're buying K-cups for the Keurigs, those are $1 a day for most coffees. So you're talking $30 a month right there.
And then all that plastic.
$30, you could buy all your eggs.
There you go.
Coffee out, right?
Always some way you can save money.
Yeah, there's ways you can save money for sure. Walmart always has good discounts, and they sell 60 eggs, even cheaper. So I could go cheaper. I just used HEB as an example. Last time on my last video, I used Walmart. People gave me flack because I didn't use, Redmond salt, and I'm like, listen, when you get to that level of diet,
you're not thinking Redmond salt. You're thinking pasteurized.
And that's like the final fine tuning of your diet, right? So I mean, listen, if you're just trying to do carnivore cheap, then it's fine. Just do it what you can. It's going to be better than the standard American diet.
Remember, if we were to compare this now on another spreadsheet to what the standard American diet is, we would list, what would we list? Cereal, we would list potato chips, Doritos, pizza, frozen pizzas, right? TV dinners. What does the standard American diet be? McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's. I mean, the prices will be higher because you're buying so much more of that crap and you're so much less healthy.
Yeah, that's right.
Aid says fish oil is not cod liver oil, so I don't know much between
cod liver oil is omega-3. It's DHA and EPA, and it's extremely healthy. Cod liver oil is outstanding.
Yes, it is. I don't know what fish oil is. I guess it's just
fish oil is a generic name for oil from a fish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so it's not as good, but it's probably not bad, right?
Oh, it's not bad. No, fish oil is very good, but it's like if it's as a supplement, it's going to be a mix of oils that you get from fish, obviously.
Always try to get your fish oil from fish. Yeah. DC's right. You get it from a supplement. So much of it, you don't know if it's gone bad because it's so fragile. Omega-3s, you know. I often have said sink and smell it because you don't know how long they've been sitting in that bottle. I still wouldn't take them. I don't take them anymore.
Right. So Dave Saunier says he eats Beach Cliff sardines regularly. So that's good.
No, I recognize that brand. Yeah.
That's good. And
they're cheap. They are very cheap. $1.02 a can. You can't beat that.
No, you can't, because that'll satiate you for sure.
It does.
For hours.
Yes, absolutely.
Hours.
You might have cat breath.
Yeah.
But and it gets in my beard. You know, if I'm like when I drink the cod liver oil or whatever, I notice I'm walking around the house 3 or 4 hours later and I'm smelling it on myself. Got to wash my beard.
All right. So Melissa knows the crackers with peanut butter and jelly. Yeah, the crackers are vegetable crackers. Oh my gosh, it's just terrible food.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. MRE, 3 meals, 3 lies in one. They're not meals, they're not ready, they're not edible, as well as ready to eat. Yeah, they're pretty bad. Hey, Hoosier's on. Hey, what's up, Hoosier? Good to see you, man.
Carnivore. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for stopping by.
So cool to have met these people in person, and now we get to see them on here.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Hoosier, if you want to join, let me know, and I'll shoot you an email real quick. Just in fact, I'm just going to shoot you an email anyway, because why not, right? Let me hide this because he might have something to add.
Yeah.
Rick, actually, he does everything on a budget too. Actually,
Rick has amazing videos of what
he has amazing money saving ideas too.
He cooks food on his engine.
Well, he does some pretty crazy money saving ideas, though, right?
Yeah.
Some of them just are pretty far out there.
He eats, the ducks are free. They're walking by. He eats the duck. The duck. I saw this one video where he's getting the egg, and he goes, "Here's the egg," because you can see the feathers, and then he picks up an egg. He found an egg. There's a free duck egg right there.
All right, I sent the invite out. It should be in his inbox in a moment. So if he wants to join, he's welcome.
I hope he joins.
Yeah, I do too. It's nice to have him. Hey, what's up, Rick? I know you do some crazy stuff. I mean, he was like, I remember when he first started doing the YouTube. I don't know if he's still doing, but he had like this old 1970s microphone, and he
still has the old telephone, and he has he has this beautiful flat screen TV that he found at the dump. He gets all this stuff for free.
That same microphone.
Yeah,
it's great. So
very smart.
So $550 Australian dollars is $366 US dollars. So you're buying beef at $366 a pound, our price,
all right,
which is pretty good.
That's US dollars, yeah. But when you do when you go to any sort of different country, when you are buying, I don't convert, because the thing is, when you're earning Australian dollars, you're spending Australian dollars.
Right.
Okay? It's the same as like it's not like going to America and say, oh wow, this is all cheap because I'm using different dollars. Right. You're still spending the same amount of money. Yeah.
But it's about the same. That's what they say. A $366 US is Australian. Yeah, it's about the same price. So I mean, it all works.
Yeah, but if you came to Australia, you're still spending Australian dollars, right?
If I bring my,
it's still going to be $5.50.
But if I bring my American money and I exchange it for Australian dollars, I'm getting more
different.
Australian dollars. So I have more money. but that's only if I'm coming there from here.
But then you have to buy beef that costs more Australian dollars. So
Yeah, it's true.
so it's all the same. Like they like
6 one way, half a dozen another. Yeah, Dave's right about the olive oil. It's supposed to have a little burn in the back of your throat, or it's not fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a way to test it. Another thing is if you put olive oil in the refrigerator and if it doesn't get a little thick, it's bad olive oil. It's supposed to get a little thick.
Probably got some machine oil in it, right?
Yeah, the cheap olive oil stays a pure liquid. Yeah.
Yeah. See, Desanier says Sandra's 100% correct. You got to get to know the butcher. He'll tell you when the sales are. And once you're tight with him, he'll always hook you up with special stuff. See, it's worth it, guys. You're going to be a carnivore. You're going to be eating meat. You want to save money, and you want to get the best deals you can. Try to talk to the butcher every time you go in. Just say hi, introduce yourself, get to know them. You know, if you're a female, you might have better odds.
And you know, a lot of look at I say this all the time, but if butchers have to pay to have like fat trimmings taken away,
thrown out, right?
Yeah, that's right. So if you get to know your butcher, like often they'll just give it to you for free, and that's what you should be eating more of anyway. You should be eating like the fat trimmings and things like that as well.
So some grocery stores do that here. HEB doesn't. HEB grinds their own ground beef and they grind it back in.
They put it back in.
But at Brookshire Brothers, which is another one, you can find out what day they trim. If you ask the butcher, like, what day do you trim your steaks, and go there that day, you can buy fat trimmings from steaks for 50 cents a pound, which is awesome. And I have a bunch in my freezer. I dice it up and I put it in a Tupperware and freeze it, stack them, and then I bust them out and throw them in the air fryer.
Oh, they're so good.
Put salt on them. Oh my gosh, so good.
They melt. That's where all the flavor is. All the flavors in the fat. That's what makes a steak taste so great.
Yeah, and then you render all that stuff when you're doing it in the bottom of the air fryer. So now you have tallow.
And you can pour that in a glass container. Never put it in plastic, people, please. So many people I see on Twitter and Facebook, and they're showing that they're putting their bacon, they're buying a tub of bacon fat from the store, and they're showing it, and it's in this plastic container. And everybody's commenting how wonderful it is. And then I make a comment, folks, it's in plastic. They had to pour it in there when it was hot in the plastic.
Yeah.
And
not good.
They're like, what's wrong with that? And then I have to go through the whole BPA talk. It's pretty bad. So
I just use those canning jars because you can buy them at the grocery store, and they're glass and they're great. So that's
with
what I use.
Metal caps.
With metal top, two-piece metal
cap,
tops, glass jar.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really cheap.
Ceramic bowls.
That works.
Michael Mahan, I finally made it on live. Yes, you are. Congratulations and welcome. Welcome to our Hump Day meetup, hangout.
Char.
I think the point is there's always, you can always save money somewhere, there's always something that people can save money, like just stop buying certain things, like magazines. People buy magazines all the time. How often do you really need them? Coffee from Starbucks, all sorts of, and if you're going from a standard Western diet, like all that junk food, or even supplements, supplements, a lot of people, even when they're trying to be healthy, supplements are just, to me, a waste of money. The best supplement you can buy is animal fat.
It is.
We have a question. How do you make the tallow?
I just made some yesterday in my crock pot. I bought, it was on sale. It was the tail of the beef, oxtail. And I just put it in my crock pot with a whole bunch of filtered water and some salt. I let it cook on high for 10 hours. And then I put it through a sieve, and I filter out all the water, make bone broth. And then it goes in those glass jars we talked about in my refrigerator overnight. The next day, all the fat rose to the top. I take a spoon, I scoop it all out and put it in a glass container, and there's my tallow. It's spreadable. That's rendered tallow right from the oxtail. You can do that with any meat at all. You're just basically melting it. You're cooking it down, and then you're re-solidifying it in the refrigerator. It separates from the water.
Yeah, I've seen a video where someone did it, and they filled the jar up. It was the mason jars.
Mhm.
They filled it up and sealed it completely, and then flipped it upside down so the tallow floated to the bottom of the bottle.
Oh,
Made sure it was sealed, and then when they're done, they flipped it over, opened it the next day, poured the water out, and they just had tallow on the bottom. It was kind of cool.
I hope they didn't pour the water out. Is the bone broth or whatever? I hope they saved that.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know. So it was just.
I'm going to
interesting.
try that though. You just gave me an idea. I never thought of doing it that way.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. You just flip it upside. You got to make sure it's full of water.
Yep,
right?
and close tightly.
And close tightly, and then you can no air because you don't want to air bubble. At the top, right?
Yeah.
The tallow just goes to the bottom of the jar, which is the top.
All
when
right.
you flip it over, you're good. And then you can dump that water to wherever you want.
I'm going to try that next time.
Yeah, for sure. How about some other things we can do to save money is cutting out streaming services, right? Because everyone's got like all these streaming services.
They do have a lot.
Listen, there's free streaming services out there. There's a service called Pluto TV, at least in America.
Mhm.
There's another one called Tubi, and I use those almost exclusively. And they have tons of movies and shows you can watch. Lots
You have
of
them. You got all the ads you got to watch, skip through.
Yeah, you got ads.
Just like on
but
YouTube.
It's like old TV.
So that's why it's free. Yeah.
But they have like the documentaries like Fat Fiction and Fat 2. They have all these great documentaries on there that are free. I mean, definitely worth watching. Oh, we got Hoosier. Hey, what's up, Brett?
Hey.
Hey, guys.
Can't see him.
I can't
Sorry.
see him. He's under the name. There he is.
There we go.
How you
I dropped
doing,
the
man?
standard. I'm going to get rid of the name here.
Doing great. Well, if you're going to be on Carnivore Soldier's channel, you gotta dress the
Oh,
part.
he ran and got something else. He ran. He ran and put the flag on.
I've got red, white, and
Thanks
blue.
for the invite. It's great to be on with you guys. It was great to meet you in Austin.
Yeah, it was great meeting you, Brett.
It was fun, man. It was really cool to meet everyone in person. So yeah, if you were to cut out Netflix, let's say, Netflix is or Hulu, they're like $15 a month, right?
They are. Yeah.
That's like a pound. That's like 5 pounds of ground beef almost. I mean,
Yeah.
that is 15 cans of sardines. That's a lot of food that you could.
Yeah.
There's ways you can cut back on things. Electricity, you got to pay electricity, right? And another thing is this. So we use less garbage, right? Not everywhere has this. My neighborhood, I don't think has it. I'm checking on it now. But some neighborhoods have every other week garbage collection instead of every week.
That's all I need.
If you can contact your garbage collection, see if they have bi-weekly collection, you might be able to save some money.
Yeah, I don't think
Maybe
they're going to
$15,
charge me less, though. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting
But
to ask.
some neighborhoods do have that. I know because I was watching a video on YouTube, and this woman said she saved $60 a month by going to bi-weekly collection.
Oh wow,
$60. I don't know who's paying $120 for garbage. I don't, but I mean, whatever. But even if you save $15-$20, these are things you can do to save and buy food with, right? And once you get your spreadsheet here, you got your dollars, you know what your target is, then you can look at your expenses and start cutting out things you don't need anymore, and replacing them.
$60 a month will pay for eggs the whole month.
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Well, what I got here on this spreadsheet
That's
is 6 eggs a day. It's $31 for a month. That's 6 eggs a day, 36 count eggs at 630 for 36, five count. So that's 6 eggs a day for 30 days for $31. That's a cheap food, and listen. Eggs are a superfood. They really are.
They have
Absolutely.
everything in there that makes a chicken. You've got your cholesterol, all your vitamins, all your minerals, all your protein, all your fat. The only thing eggs don't have is calcium. And then even Dr. Berry said, okay, we're going to take the egg shells, we're going to crumple them up, we're going to put them in the toaster oven to kill off any bacteria. Then you put them in the food processor. He makes a dust out of it, sprinkles it back in his food. There's your calcium. So now eggs really do have everything, literally everything.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So this is the tallow comment. So last day of normal is going to try that. I guess doing the upside down tallow thing.
See, she had an aha moment like I did.
Errol Channer, very good morning, doll. Hey, welcome. Good to see you, man. I think he's in South Africa.
Errol?
I believe.
That's cool.
Am I right?
People from all over the world on this.
Yeah, I've been to South Africa twice. I love South Africa. I haven't been there since 2005. I think was the last time I was there, but tell you what, South Africa, where I was down by Cape Town and stuff, it's like Santa Barbara. It is just beautiful weather. It's a beautiful country. I mean, there's some extremes there economically and socially, but it is a wonderful place, and the people are very friendly and warm. I love South Africa. That's one place I would consider actually going to if it was not so unstable.
Yeah.
And live. You know, it's a beautiful place, and a lot of just great people, and they have great meat there. Oh my God!
Do they?
Some meat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they have, instead of a barbecue, they have what they call a braai, and they say it with the Afrikaans, they say braai,
Afrikaan,
whatever,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and they're like, and the braai is like all these different meats on the grill, and
Wow.
then they have something called biltong. And
Biltong, right.
Biltong, yeah, biltong is different antelope that they dry in strips and with salt. It's so
Right.
good. It's got a distinct flavor that I kind of missed
Huh.
when I got here. Now there are some guys in America that make traditional biltong, but it's really expensive. Let's see. Yeah, I have no rubbish. I don't throw food away anymore. That's something that I used to do a lot of, except for when my son's with me, because he still eats some foods that are not carnivore, and I throw food away, and it makes me feel guilty.
Isn't that interesting? It doesn't go bad. Meat, like you put it, if you're going to have leftovers, you're going to eat it the next day or the day after that. It's not going bad. Versus if you've got leftover lettuce and tomatoes and onions and garlic, all that stuff liquefies. It stinks. It all goes bad. You have so much less trash when you're just eating meat. And
plus, there's less packaging. You know?
And less packaging. You're right.
So look at this. Premium YouTube, she's paying $100 a month. And
For
that
you?
is
What is premium YouTube? What are you getting for premium YouTube?
It better be a lot.
$100 a month? I don't pay
Yeah.
anything, and I use YouTube.
Yeah, I use YouTube, and I watch, like I said, Pluto and Tubi.
I just click the next button. I don't watch the ads.
Yep.
I'm cheap.
Yeah, YouTube Premium is no ads.
Yeah, but for
It's not
$100
$100 a month. It's like $16 a month.
No, but she's getting the YouTube TV service too, though.
Oh, it's a TV service.
Yeah,
like
it's
a
like
Netflix
streaming TV
thing.
service. Yeah,
That's pretty steep. That's like Comcast. I wouldn't be paying.
It's like Comcast.
Wow.
And that's exactly what the service is
Wow.
like.
Wow.
Well, if it's her Wi-Fi,
I-
maybe it's her Wi-Fi also. I don't know. Maybe it's.
I did it back in the day because I
Probably.
traveled for work, and
Did
I
you?
wanted to see the news and stuff, and so I bring it with me, on my laptop. Like I needed TV or something. I don't know. Now I don't watch TV so much, so it doesn't really matter.
You can
If
get
I do-
a digital antenna, and you get a lot of channels. Like I have
Yeah,
one in
depending
case
where
the
you
power
live.
goes out, and I have a generator, and I can watch TV with the antenna. I get all these really high definition channels. You get about 18 to 22 channels just from the antenna.
Yeah.
So you don't even need to pay for any internet or services.
She gets tough cuts of meat, which there's plenty out there you can buy. There's a lot of shoulders and stuff that are tough, and you can crock pot or Instant Pot them,
Crock pot.
or you can also do a sous vide if you want, and those will all soften meats. So there's a lot of ways to prepare cheap cuts to make them tender. Okay.
Another thing you can do is if you take a food processor, sometimes I bought some meat and I didn't realize how tough it was, and I'm eating it for dinner. I'm like, this is so tough. And I get through it, I got all this leftover. I cut it up into little chunks, put them in the food processor, and I mince it up. You make mincemeat out of it. It's cutting all the tendons and the gristle, and then you can put that in eggs or whatever. Use it like ground beef, and it's really good. Because the flavor's all in
You
there.
make your own sausages and stuff as well.
Yeah, that's how they make sausage and stuff.
Well, Charger Mopar throws out. He has a video on how little trash
He does.
That's good.
I watched it.
I don't know what your YouTube channel is, so drop it in there so everyone can
It's
see. I think
Charger
just
Mopar.
Charger Mopar, right?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
Charger
so
Mopar.
it's at Charger Mopar. So check out his channel, guys. For
It's
sure.
really cool. He did one not too
He's got
long
cool
ago
stuff.
where he broke open. Remember the tube of muffins? You break them open and you break them apart. You put them in the.
Yeah.
Remember? Well,
I used to do those.
he did a hilarious video on this, and he's talking like he's from Mars. It goes, "What is this? So it's exploding, and what is this stuff?" And it's hilarious. You have to watch it. He does things from an angle that we probably should look at things that way because we're eating foreign stuff. We're eating this
It's
crap
weird.
that isn't
It's
food.
not natural. You'd never
Yeah.
find it in nature and eat it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Everything he
Gooey,
talked about.
expanding substance, you wouldn't put it in your mouth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It comes with this stuff you spread on it. What is this stuff? It looks like, what did he say? It looks like lube that you put in your car.
It's sugar, yeah.
Mhm.
So Sherry McGrath says, for a woman 5'3", how much meat and eggs would you recommend per day? I mean, it's
Whatever makes
for
you
me. I would
wake
just
up.
say you listen to your body and eat when you're hungry and eat till you're
Exactly.
satiated. What do you guys think?
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a
You
one
do your
size fits all sort of thing.
People always
You have
want to
to
have how
experiment.
much do I have to drink? How much do I have to eat? How many ounces of this and how much protein should I have? There's no answer to that question. Nobody knows the answer because even a person of a certain weight, it's different for every human being. You just eat until you're comfortably stuffed, until it doesn't taste good anymore. And that's how much you should have. If you want to wait and come up with a number, go ahead and do that. But just eat until your body tells you. Yeah.
Yeah, so Errol's from London, so it is early morning there.
Oh, wow.
It's like 1:55. It's almost 2 a.m. or something. He must be working a night shift.
Wow.
Or he's having a problem sleeping. One of the two. Thanks for joining, Errol, though. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bride. That's the South African barbecue.
Right.
They're great, though. I mean, if you ever get a chance, guys,
Wow.
if you ever get a chance to go to South Africa, and it's just amazing. I love that place. Table Mountain, Cape Town, Stellenbosch. There's a lot of great towns there.
Larry, I came back to Florida and I said, you've got to go to Texas, people. They've got meat there. There's a ton of meat everywhere. Every restaurant I saw had this great meat. We don't have that much here in Florida.
That was true.
It's the same in Japan. Like that's what I keep telling the people. You got to go to Japan. There's I mean, every corner, literally every corner you go to the city, there will be a meat barbecue restaurant.
Oh, really? In Japan?
There's just meat everywhere.
Oh, wow.
So I set my thermostat to 78 to save, and I do save money doing that. And I have a newer home, so it's pretty efficient. 78 is comfortable when it's 98 outside. That's 20 degrees cooler, and it's not humid in the house, which is the important thing. So I do that too. These are things you can do. We're just throwing ideas out there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that. How about Brett? What ideas do you have for saving money, or what things have you heard of or you tried that you think that people could do to save money and buy food with, or buy food, in a way that's more thrifty, I guess? What are some tips you have? Do you have anything?
Well, I use an app on my phone called Flip, and you can program it to pick up sale items at the stores near you and for the items that you want. So, mine doesn't tell me when apples are on sale or when Doritos are on sale. It tells me when ribeye is on sale or meat or eggs or butter, or the things I've got it set for. And I just got ribeye today at a local grocery store here called Kroger for $7.99 a pound.
Just the app?
Called Flip, yeah.
That's it?
Yep.
So there you go, guys. You can download an app like
out.
Flip. Yeah,
It's free.
It's a free app that, of course, whenever something's a free one, you're the product.
Right.
They're collecting your data. So just let you know that. But it is free.
Yeah.
But you are the product that they are collecting data on. But it lets you find sales, which is great. That's really good.
If they want to collect data on somebody who's only seeking meat,
yeah,
that's good data.
Yeah, maybe they'll get enough people using this and seeking meat that they'll start promoting that or something.
Right.
Marketing companies will start realizing, sit up and go, oh, we need to stock up meat and promote that because people are buying it.
Right.
Yeah.
People are shopping for it. There's a trend.
Just added it, Brett. Thank you.
Premium Foxtel is satellite TV. Oh, she pays for Foxtel satellite
TV.
Yeah.
That's $100.
much
Yeah, you
is
should
that?
probably get rid of that. Just use the internet and watch your free stuff. Watch YouTube, watch Rumble, and then watch, like I said, Pluto and Tubi, which are great.
Tell
Lots of great-
Rick has to dial 475 on his rotary phone, and he can download the app.
So Rick says he watches 20 minutes of TV every day. So that's basically what I do. And on Tubi, it does have the local news. So I turn on the news at 5 a.m. and watch the weather. As soon as the weather's done, all the negativity starts coming out. I turn it right off.
It does.
I don't want to watch any of that. I don't watch any of that negativity because you know what? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
I get.
And
Yeah,
I read a
watch
thing,
the weather.
and I read it because I don't want to hear it. That way I can choose what I'm
you've gotta
reading. I
watch
can
the weather though,
headline.
because I mean, you don't want to walk outside and say, "Oh wow, it's sunny."
But what I worry about with the weather is I have like patio furniture in the back, and I want to make sure it's not going to rain the next couple of days, and I'll leave the cushions out. If rain's coming, then I'll bring the cushions in. That's the only reason I really do that. I'm working at home. I'm not like commuting. But if it is going to be raining in the morning and sunny in the afternoon, I'll put off any trips I do to the afternoon, that kind of stuff, so I don't get rain all over the vehicle and stuff. So that's all I do with it, and then see how hot it's going to be.
Hey, Larry, look up Flip with 2 P's. I don't think
Oh, is
you
that
have
the
the
wrong
right
app?
one up. Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Crap! Did I download the wrong one?
You might have.
Oh man! All right.
Oh, here it is. Grocery store deals. Yeah.
Grocery store deals.
All right.
Yeah, that's what it looks like right there.
Remove.
Flip. Sorry, guys. If you downloaded the wrong one, delete it. Add this one.
Thank
I
you.
was thinking
Brett.
something didn't look right.
I was
I'll do
probably
that. Well, Brett, I appreciate that. That's
tomorrow when I got on Flip, I'd be like cursing Brett out. I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? There's no meat on here.
right.
All right, let's get the other one. Flip with 2 P's.
Yeah. It's
What
pretty
about
easy to
down in
use.
Australia, DC, is there any Australian stuff that that you guys do down there different that you could save money on, or other than what we're discussing, or is it pretty much the same?
Much the same. It's basically just common sense stuff, really, isn't it? Buy it when it's on sale. Cut back on things that you don't need. You don't need to buy a Starbucks every day. You don't need to buy a magazine every day. You don't need to, have, satellite or whatever, TV services or other sort of things that you don't use anyway. There's always areas where people can cut back on their life, and I think it's a better investment for people to spend their money on food.
Yes.
Invest in yourself, invest in your health, rather than the stuff that you bring home and stack up around you that never gets used. You don't need to buy clothes every week either.
Oh, a lot of people
you don't need
do.
to buy, where a lot of people do. I mean, I've got shirts I've had for 20 years, like shoes, and there's always something. There's always something that you can cut back on. People are always buying stuff that they just don't need, and a lot of it comes down to it's a spur of the moment thing. Oh, you look in the window, that shiny thing, it looks great. I say, oh, I want that. So it's a spur of the moment sort of spend that.
The
People need
dopamine
to
hit.
sort of think
Yeah.
about as well.
It's like emotional snacking, right? Because
Exactly.
if you walk away and don't snack, and 10 minutes later you're not hungry, it goes away.
The urge does go away sometimes.
It's probably
within
the same
5
with
minutes.
those buying urges,
Exactly.
right?
That's right. And it's the same with the junk food as well, like you just said, like you can cut back on that stuff, especially like if you're on a Western style diet, like the standard, that is something that it's an absolute must. You're absolutely saving money by not buying all those cookies, cakes, and junk food and all these other, frozen meals and pizza and stuff like that. So you can always cut back on your spending. People are like raccoons. They like, so they see something new and shiny, they have to have it. Like raccoons.
George Carlin was right.
Speaking of clothes, if you're willing to, lower yourself to shopping at a thrift store, like Goodwill,
Yes.
or those, I buy
I
almost everything at all my clothes except for socks and underwear at thrift stores, and I find nice stuff.
There's some
I
really
find-
nice stuff there. Yeah.
I find grunt style t-shirts. I find untuck it t-shirts. We all know Americans know what untucked shirts are for.
Yeah.
You know, I find Levi's jeans. I find, you know, really great, even good shoes. And you can save a lot of money by buying $6 jeans and $4 t-shirts.
Oh yeah.
Especially if you're losing weight as fast as you do on this diet, which I did.
Yeah.
And I gave away a bunch of great clothes that had been worn several times, you know, because I couldn't wear them anymore. And that's a great point. Shopping, if you do need clothes, and this is a need thing, not if you want clothes, but, you know, if you need them, we're talking about people that are trying to budget to eat and live in this tough time right now. You could go to the thrift store. I buy furniture at thrift stores too. I buy a lot of stuff at the thrift store. I love thrift stores.
It's fun to
Holiday
shop in a thrift store. I go in there just for the fun of it. Sometimes just to walk around and look at stuff.
Yeah, it's fun. I
But
see stuff through my
I think
head.
you have to be discerning though too, because I mean sometimes, like I've been to thrift stores before where it's actually more expensive than going to a store and buying it new. Okay, so you have to be discerning. You have to know what these things are valued at as well. And like if you don't, I mean, if even like Kmart and these Target and places like they're actually really cheap when it comes to clothes and things like that as well. So plus there's also if be discerning in what you buy. Like if I have clothes that like this shirt I'm wearing now, I've had this for about 7 years. Okay, like it's not a cheap shirt, but you know, like over 7 years, like a $50 shirt, it's very cheap. You know, I've still got a pair of boots that I bought when I was 18 years old that are still in good condition that I still wear. All right. So like it cost me $200 in when I was 18. Okay. So it's what 33 years ago now. All right. So they're dead cheap.
So a couple bucks a year to wear those boots.
Yeah.
That's
I have
right.
a pair of boots just like that.
You know, so like, and
So when I bought my,
I wore them brutally. Like after the tsunami and stuff in Japan, I wore them when I was cleaning up houses, cleaning mud out of places, and all sorts of stuff. Right, but they're still good boots.
Just clean them up.
Yeah. No, I've never had them resold. Never had them resold. The sole's great.
But you can do that instead of buying.
Yeah, you can do that too. And
really good pair.
One of the things I had to keep buying were belts because I started losing weight so fast that the belts I had, I'd run out of, and they'd be like, I'd look like Jethro with the big old piece of leather thing on the side, you know. So
a rope.
You guys know that Beverly Hillbillies reference.
Yeah.
He used to use a rope, but I felt like Jethro, this huge flop, so I'd start buying belts, and these belts are expensive, man. They're like $35, and then I'd have to buy another one, and it happened like 2 iterations. Then I started going to Walmart, and they had Dickies belts that are cheap, and they're great. And I buy Dickies belts now, and that's something I probably wouldn't buy at a thrift store either because they're stretched kind of. You know, belts get kind of they form to you a little bit. So like underwear, socks, and belts, I buy new. But
another good thing you could do there, if you buy a good decent leather belt, right, you can shorten them. You can add holes and you can shorten them as well. So, you know, you can save money that way as well. You don't have to keep buying new ones. A good leather belt will last you. I've got a really good, good brand too, Fossil leather belt. I bought 12 years ago. I still wear it today. I just put more holes in it and I shortened it because I lost a bit of weight. But that's about it, you know.
Something else you can do too, if you're kind of willing and industrious enough, is you can have a side hustle. I sell stuff on eBay. A lot of time, you know, I'll go to Goodwill and different places. I'll find things that are way underpriced, and I'll sell them and make some money. And you know, I pull down, you know, maybe another $1,000 a month on my eBay sales because I work at it, and it's I spend a lot of time on it. But even if you just sold a couple things here and there, you know, that can make up a lot of money for extra food.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you don't always have to cut back on spending. You can also add to your budget as well.
With that extra energy you have, because you're eating proper human diet, now you have all this energy, right? So it's easier to
that's
go
right.
out. And it's also easier to get promoted because you have energy at work. People see the difference, and you're like, if you're in a job, you are like the exemplar. You're like the the energy guy that everyone sees moving and shaking, right? And that's easier to get. I think so anyway. It's just easier to be better at what you do. So for sure. All right, guys. Well, it's been over an hour, so I think what we're going to do is I'm going to drop you guys out. Brett, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you jumping on. Really do. And everyone, check out. Make sure you check out everyone's channels here. We got Carnivore Teacher 1965. We got Who's Your Carnivore, DC Learning to Live, and of course Carnivore Soldier. And you can also check out Charger Mopar, Rick. So these are some good channels. Check them out. Check their stuff out. Support them with their videos. I'm gonna drop you guys out and say goodbye. If you stick around, we'll chat for a few minutes.
All right.
See you, everyone.
All right, guys. End of another fantastic discussion on Wednesday. They're always fun. We always have good stuff to talk about and great points. I learned a lot. I hope you did too. All I got to say is stay strong and overcome. Carnivore Soldier out.